I'm like kind of like Charlie Brown, you know. I'm like, of all the Charlie Browns in the world, I'm the Charlie Browniest.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to another episode of Who's Drinking What? Craft beer podcast.
All right.
Sit around drinking and talking all about it. I'm Peter Hines, your host. It is January 23rd, and we're here at the Tap Beer Bar at the heart of Bloomington. Alongside me, as always, co-host, drinking buddy Brooks Scott. How you doing, Brooks?
I'm doing great. How's everybody doing?
Totally great. And
Great.
we have a good guest today, Kenneth Armstrong. How are you today?
Me. I'm doing great, yeah.
That's me. I love it. He's so humble, guys. Kenneth is a local comedian.
Sure.
And I love his stuff, which we'll get into later.
Okay.
Because we've got beers in front of us, and I
Sure.
won't torture us by making us wait any longer.
Okay.
Cheers, gentlemen.
Cheers.
That's unexpected. Interesting. I like it.
Yeah.
Well,
Oh. Damn. Jesus, that was something.
that good, Brooks? Well, what are you drinking?
I'm drinking a Brewery Vivant Tart Side of the Moon. It's a Belgian strong ale. It's got about 10% alcohol.
Do you taste that?
Yeah. I'm not even really going to read the description. I got it just because it said Tart Side of the Moon. I figured it might be kind of a sourish type beer. I'm trying to get more into those, but it's a Belgian strong ale, all right? It's freaking, it's powerful.
They had you at the Pink Floyd reference.
Well, yeah, a little bit there, but that definitely helped. But damn, that was that about knocked me out of my chair, I think, man.
A couple weeks ago, Brooks got a Fade to Black
Yeah,
for the Metallica.
I'm a big
Sure.
Metallica fan.
Yeah.
That wasn't for you guys, by the way, just in case anybody listening might not be familiar. We got some rock vets here.
I'm all about the band beers.
Kenneth, what are you drinking?
I'm having the Jolly Traveler.
Sounds pleasant.
Yeah, you know, I'm kind of industry guy, so if I'm doing some sort of tasting, I always like to start kind of light and then move to heavy, you know, like if I'm tasting wine or beer or anything.
Sure.
So I wanted to try something nice and summery and vibrant first, and
Nice.
it's not bad.
Is it?
It's a little odd. It
Yeah?
has this weird spice thing going on.
Interesting.
It's kind of almost a pumpkin-y, spicy thing. I think it's gonna grow on me as I go through.
There
it.
you go.
That's what I love sometimes when you
Yeah.
try different beers is you're not totally sure with the first, but you get there. Yeah, and that Jolly Traveler's a shandy. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
says embracing flavors of the season, so that makes sense that it's got some
Right.
spice. Says notes of orange, pomegranate, and spice.
Right.
Well,
Interesting.
there you go.
right.
What'd you get, Pete?
Well, I've been increasing my love of nitros as of late, and I went with the Tap's own Old Wooden Head. Accidentally called it the Oaken Bucket earlier. But yeah, it's a traditional brown English-style barley wine with complex malt, sweetness of caramel and toffee. And it's actually, and it's about a 10% alcohol. Barley wines are usually strong, but it's really got a nice warm sweetness to it.
All right.
Interesting.
I probably should follow your advice, Kenneth, of starting light and going heavy.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Right.
I've never been very good at that myself.
So if this is light, I just got to get heavier from here.
You gotta go big time.
Well, and we kind of talked about it before the show, but I got some IU fans with me.
Sure.
I'm just a very happy college basketball fan. I wouldn't call myself necessarily an IU fan.
Oh, okay.
Not against, but
It's like
Last
some college
night.
basketball, yeah.
top 25
What
matchup.
a showing.
They took Maryland to the woodshed last night.
Yeah, they did.
They gave him the business.
Yogi was unconscious.
I mean, I was stupid and couldn't find it on TV, but I saw the highlights, and yeah, I mean, it looked like it didn't matter if anyone was in front of him, how far back
Yeah.
he was.
And yeah, it didn't really matter who we were playing last
he
night.
Was, he was 7 for 8 from the 3-point line, so
Wow.
that's a good night,
Yeah.
you know.
It's a good
Man.
night if your team hits 7 threes, let alone.
Right.
I can't go 7 of 8 from layups.
Right. Heard that. No, it was definitely a huge win, though, against the number 12 or whatever team they were in the country. They killed them, too.
Yeah.
Beat them by
Yeah,
20.
that should move them up. I mean, I saw UD that was 22 right in front of them lost this week, so they're at least moving up 1. I would say probably 5 or 6. They move
might.
up.
Depends. If they can, they play Ohio State Sunday at Ohio State, so if they can knock them off in Columbus, I think they'd shoot
That
up
could
a
slow
bunch,
it, yeah.
but yeah.
Well, and they already have one
sure.
win against Ohio State.
Even if they
Yeah.
lose in Columbus, I don't think. I still think they might go up a couple
They
spots.
still probably
just
go up
from-
a couple. Yeah.
So, time will tell.
Definitely.
Yeah.
In other sports news, have you guys noticed that this week before the Super Bowl that ESPN has turned into a hardcore urology channel?
No.
They're just talking about balls.
Yeah.
Balls and irregular balls, or maybe
Yes,
slightly
indeed.
deflated.
Tom Brady's balls. I swear I've heard enough of that shit all week. Every time you turn on
really
anything,
is.
that's all they're talking about.
Yeah. And I jumped right in there with it at the beginning, but now I'm just like, God, just let it go.
Just stop.
Yeah,
Obviously, I'm a Colts fan.
Yeah.
Obviously, I hate the Patriots. We all know they cheat. You know,
That's why I think everyone's
it's-
so about it, just because they got that Spygate thing under their
they're
belt.
not. I mean, they're not gonna have any like huge penalties coming.
No,
on
no,
them.
I don't
It's-
think so.
You know what I heard actually just yesterday? That there is a specified NFL rulebook penalty for this infraction, and it's just $25,000 fine.
Really?
That's,
that's
how
it?
minor of an issue
I
the
heard-
NFL must
yeah.
have deemed this.
Yeah, they were talking about them losing draft picks and stuff like that.
And I'm sure that it probably will be more severe,
Yeah.
which is why else would they drag it out
yeah,
this long?
They're gonna lose draft picks, but the Patriots never have like a first or second round
Well,
draft
and-
pick. They always
Right.
pick someone in the 4th and 5th round
Who
that's
turns
like
out to be-
Tom Brady.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, and
Yeah.
so I don't really see that affecting it at
No,
all
not
either.
at all,
so
no.
it's all whatever. Go Colts.
Anyways,
Yeah. No, totally. All right, one other thing that happened to me this week that I wanted to ask you guys I thought was interesting. Definitely a child of the late 90s when I went through high school. Mm-hmm. I was at a friend's house, I was ready to get out of the car when BC Boys Intergalactic came on.
Sure.
I stood up and I was like, hang on, buddy. I can't turn my car off. I got to
You
listen
can't
to
get
this.
out of the car.
So, you know, and I probably have a few other songs that I just have to respect and won't turn off. But do you guys have anything like that? Any ones that come to mind where you're like, I'm rocking this through?
Jeez.
You know, I listen to a lot of different kind of stuff. Pretty much anything by Ween.
Nice.
And I'm just an enormous Ween fan. And I mean, I entered this group on Facebook. It's like the Ween Appreciation Society, right? It's the most active group that I've ever been a member of.
Really?
There's like a post every day, and I posted something on there literally 3 hours ago. It was a story. I was living here in town. I was about to get kicked out of my house. I was sitting at Yogi's, and I was telling my friend next to me about, man, I'm going to be evicted and all this shit. And I don't know where I'm going to go. This other guy next to me, he's like, hey, man, you can come stay at my place if you want.
Some guy at the bar.
I was like,
That's so cool.
I've never met you in my life. He's like, you got a Ween shirt on, man.
oh,
Good enough
really?
for me.
Oh,
I was like, you're a fan of Ween? He's like, yeah. I was like, all right, man, cool. So, yeah, I ended up living with this guy for like 2 years. We became best friends.
dude, that's awesome.
That is pretty cool.
Ween is just making the world a better place.
It really is. But within 3 hours of posting that, there was already like 29 likes and 5 comments and and stories from other people that were like, yeah, man, I saw a guy wearing a Ween shirt at a gas station, needed gas. I gave him $10 to put in his tank, and just all
Yeah.
these stories, man. It's fun because when you're into a group like that, there's like a camaraderie amongst the fan, the fandom of it, so it's
That's the most heartwarming band story I've ever
Yeah,
heard.
that's awesome.
Didn't know we were going to get into that, but I'm glad I asked. Thank you.
Yeah, so anything by Ween, I will not turn the car off.
Oh, man.
Jeez.
Brooks, you thought of one over there?
Gosh,
He's thinking. I see
I
it on
don't
your
know.
face.
I've had License to Ill in my head ever since he talked about the Beastie Boys.
Yeah.
So all I'm
Excellent.
thinking about is that.
All the
and that
Beastie Boys
music.
stuff. I mean, anything like Sure Shot,
Yeah.
you know.
Sabotage.
I don't know. Any kind of hard rock, classic hard rock. I'm in there drumming to myself. I don't know. I'll usually wait them out. I'm a big 80s rock fan.
All right.
Miley Cyrus,
Yeah.
Justin Bieber, same for me. Can't turn off the Biebs.
As long as you're in the car by yourself.
Yeah.
I was going to ask that, actually. Was there any embarrassing ones that you will cop to? Mine personally is Ace of Base.
Oh, that's a great
Personally is
song.
what?
Ace of Base.
Oh, man.
You know, I won't turn them off
There's
either.
no shame there.
I'll give it up.
All right,
Love
good.
Fool.
I went in a little.
Love Fool by the Cardigans.
Cardigans.
Nice. Yes. That
Great.
song was just everywhere.
Oh, I love that. But, you know, that album is really good, actually.
Is it? That's the only song I know of theirs.
Yeah, most people only know that song. They have like 3 albums, and they're all really cool. And even that album that song is on is pretty badass. They actually do a cover of Iron Man on that.
Really?
That is just the weirdest, coolest cover that you'd ever hear.
All right. So the lead singer's voice, is that her voice like in every song? Like,
Yeah.
That would be weird to hear Iron Man in that voice.
Yeah. It's real slow, like the Iron Man
Really?
cover. Yeah, it's cool. You'll have to check it out.
Yeah. I'm
Will
definitely
do.
looking that up.
Yeah.
All right. I did mention earlier, Kenneth, that you do some local. Well, actually, not just local. You do stand-up comedy.
You know, yeah. Whatever I can, yeah.
And you have one of my favorite bits. I've kind of just gotten into it recently, so you've been around longer than I've been paying attention to the scene, and I should have been paying attention longer now that I've listened to some people. But
Yeah.
the one you're doing right now is about a gargoyle
Right.
lifting you up off the street
Yes.
and asking you
It's a true story.
to give it a service.
Absolutely 100% true story.
All right, I was gonna ask you how you came up with that, but I mean, reality steps in.
Yeah. Because it happened.
Yeah.
Yeah, this gargoyle hoists me up. I was just walking by some, like, 1600s Gothic architecture one day, admiring it, you know,
As
we
you
all
do.
Yeah.
And this freaking gargoyle comes up out of nowhere and just snatches me up. It was crazy.
What a world.
Yeah.
You never know what's going to happen.
But he
Man.
forced me to give him a blowjob. So,
Yeah. I mean, if you're a gargoyle and you snatch somebody up, I mean,
yeah.
Might
I
as
guess
well.
what else would they want to try
Right.
to get into that mindset?
Well, most people would think that they would snatch you up from behind. He snatched me up from the front, so his gargoyle penis was just right there in my face. And he was just kind of like, you know, if you just open your mouth, you know, and just the natural movement of my wings will take care of, you know, the rest of the business, basically. So,
Oh, man.
He's thought it out, it sounds
Yeah.
like. This gargoyle, you're not the first.
no,
Yeah.
Probably not going to be the last.
no. He's been stalking me, you know. I'll see him on the courthouse every once in a while over here. But the thing is, I think the crows have scared him away lately.
Oh, man.
The
Those are
the
weird.
murder of crows out there.
Yeah.
Anyone listening to this not from Bloomington, it's like a real nice scenic square right in the middle of town, like you'll see in a lot of the older small towns. And yeah, the courthouse is center, lined with trees, real nice, what is that, landscaping?
Yeah.
About 5 billion crows are starting to congregate there every night.
Yeah.
The trees look full, even though it's winter and they're empty,
Yep.
but black. And
It's really insane. And there's literally bird shit
yeah.
Oh,
just
God.
absolutely covering the entire courthouse square.
Somebody's gonna get Legionnaire's disease. What's really weird too, have you guys come by, I don't know what time of night it happens, but when they're asleep and they're not making any sounds?
That's even weirder.
Totally, but you still know they're there.
Yeah.
Flips is some Stephen King
frightening.
stuff. Yeah.
Someone should deal with that. Not me, however.
All right. Well, Kenneth, if you're going to stick around a little longer, we have a game for you. Brooks knows this one. We're going to play Buy It, Guzzle It, Dump It.
Right?
I always love playing new games with new people.
Sure.
So stick around for that. We're going to take a quick
fun.
break.
All right.
Shadows fall to my window. Night is coming.
All right. I've come back with some samples for these guys.
Here we go.
It's game time.
All right.
All right. Now, Kenneth, I'm going to let Brooks go first so that you can
Sure.
kind of watch him since
Okay.
he's a bit of a vet at this.
Sure.
So complicated.
Yeah. And we're going to do this a little different than the last time we played. Last time, we all went with the same style of beer and then kind of chose different ones within that style. This time, I've got themes for each of you. They're all different types of beers. Brooks, all of yours have a winter-themed name.
Okay.
And so he's got them in front of him. Starting
here.
at number 1, you have the North Peak Ring Them Bells.
Ring them bells.
Ring Them Bells.
I like that.
Then you have the Victory Winter Cheers.
Okay.
And then the Taps Winter Delights. So
Okay.
if you want to tuck into that.
All right. Well then,
All right, you're starting with the Ring Them Bells.
starting with the ring them bells.
While he's doing that, I'll kind of tell you guys what that is. North Peak, which is out of Michigan. It's a spirited blend of juniper berries, clove, and cinnamon with caramel malt and hoppy pine accents.
He's not giving a good face on that one.
Full-bodied and rich with the crisp
All right.
finish. It's listed as a spiced ale.
Threw
So
up the Keystone Light face that guy makes.
bitter beer face.
On to the next one. We'll go back to that one.
Okay. So right now he's trying the Victory Winter Cheers, which is called an American Pale Wheat,
Ah.
which I'm starting to see a few more of where they're starting to hop a wheat beer. You know what? And it just basically said everything I said. It still has a finish though, as far as like a wheat, maybe a Hefeweizen
right.
with a banana, clove, and citrus.
It tastes like a Hefeweizen, kind of.
Okay, interesting. Do you get much of the hops out of it?
Not a lot, really.
Okay. And then your last one is
right.
the Tap's Own Winter Delight,
Winter Delight. A little pretzel here.
which is an English brown ale. Says
Is
it's
that oh no, we had the frostbite. Never mind.
yeah, and they also have one called Snowdrift. So there's a lot of options I could have gone with.
Yeah. All right.
But yeah, it says it's got a lot of toasted oats, raisins, and local maple syrup into it.
Sounds terrible.
So yeah, and it's
Not
finished
a fan
with
of
a
raisins. Sorry, just
yeah. they're-
personal thing.
No, I'm with you. Kind of freaked me out. Oatmeal cookies piss me off because they're just chocolate chip imposters.
Yeah. You know, I can deal with oatmeal cookies, just not with raisins in them. Leave
Right,
the raisins out of it.
Yeah, just the plain oatmeal part's the best.
That's good.
All right. I think I've come to my decision.
All right. What are you gonna call your buy it?
My buy it is going to be the Winter Delight from the tap.
All right.
It's
Ooh.
good.
Hey, all right.
I surprisingly really like it.
Local guy wins.
Yeah.
Yeah. House rules on that.
Pretty good.
Guzzle it.
Guzzle It is going to be the Victory Winter Cheers, the American Pale Wheat.
Okay.
Nice and smooth, not too heavy.
Just
Easy-
down a bunch
easy
of it, huh?
drinker.
All
Bunch
right.
of them down, guzzle it. And as far as the dump it goes, that would have been the North Peak Ring Them Bells. spiced ale. It just kind of tasted shitty. I don't. That's about all I have to say about it.
Not Brooks' style. All right.
Yeah, not my style.
Buy it, guzzle it, dump it. All right. Well, Kenneth, if you want to get started on yours,
Okay.
starting over here, you have the Great Divide Hibernation,
All right.
which that's the one that's listed as an old ale. Brooks and I are a little confounded as to what the hell that is.
Yep.
And then over here, you have your Lagunitas Cappuccino,
Okay.
and that is an Imperial Stout.
It's interesting. It has kind of a
Pretzels. if
Scottish
you need 'em.
ale type of ring to it.
Yeah.
Ah.
Yeah, he's talking about the Hibernation there. I kind of jumped
Okay.
ahead on him.
Yeah. Okay. Now, what is this?
That is the Lagunitas Cappuccino.
Cappuccino.
It's an Imperial Stout. I don't know if you're a coffee fan. I'm sure that it's decidedly in the coffee
Yeah.
flavor spectrum.
I'm not really a coffee fan,
Okay.
but coffee makes its little flavored areas into things.
Yeah.
You know,
Totally.
you got to put coffee in your brownie. You're making fresh brownies. You got to put coffee in your brownies.
I like that idea.
You know, coffee makes its way into red wines
Yep.
often. A little hint of coffee is very good. I think it's quite tasty.
Ooh.
Really? All right. Excellent. So not a coffee fan, liking the cappuccino. And then you have Oscar Blues Old Chub, which is a Scotch ale, and it's on nitro, which I'm a pretty outspoken proponent of this beer. I like that. He's got a good taster's face, doesn't he?
Yeah.
You can see he really considers.
Really thoughtful.
Yeah, it's like each individual taste bud is reporting into him at the command center. Let him think it out. Brooks, on the way over, Buicks are kind of considered old people cars, right?
I'm sorry. What?
Buicks usually get the stigma of
Yeah,
being like an old person's
yeah.
car. I had one pull out in front of me to where I had to like slam on the brakes because they shouldn't have pulled out in front of me.
Right.
And then my car immediately started smelling like old people stink. I was like, from a Buick, that's just a little too on the nose, guys.
Right.
All right, stupid anecdotes aside, I think Kenneth might have his buy it, guzzle it, dump it. And actually, you know what? I'll let you present them in any order you want.
I'm gonna dump this guy.
Ooh.
Old Chubb's getting dumped.
Sorry.
No, that's fine. That's why we play it.
I'm gonna
He's looking at.
buy it or guzzle it better. Which is the better of the two?
You know what?
Good question, isn't it?
It's your interpretation. Because for me, guzzle it's probably the best. Because then I
Yeah.
gotta have more and more.
I think I'm gonna guzzle the cappuccino
Ah.
All right.
and buy this guy over here.
All right. So he's gonna buy the Great Divide Hibernation, take the cappuccino down all at once, kick that old chub to the side.
It has the old chub just had a kind of an odd after flavor to me,
Oh, okay.
or finish, if you would, in professional speak.
No, I get that. Sometimes that can really make or break a beer for me. Because if it's really good up front, but then it's just
Sure.
like, you're lingering way too long, get off my tongue, beer.
You were talking about your car,
Yeah.
and you presented to me a bit that I do, and you did this bit like a few weeks ago, and I meant to tell you afterwards, but I think it has a lot of legs. I mean, it was like your first time doing it or whatever, but it's about former convicts driving around cop cars.
Yes.
Because I am one of those people. I didn't tell you that.
Oh, shit.
But I drive an old Grand Marquis, which is totally an old cop
Yeah.
car. And it's all beat up and full of trash and clothes. And I'm like, I'm one of those guys that like creeps up behind Peter and freaks him out until he realizes, wait, that's not a cop at all. It's
Yeah.
just some freaking probably homeless guy.
Probably homeless.
That's hilarious. I had always, when I started doing that joke, I was like, I'm going to maybe piss off somebody who's driving around in one of those.
Brown Vic or something.
But they should know they piss me off because I always have to do that quick break, hoping not to get the ticket.
Yeah,
Right.
exactly.
And then sometimes they pull up and they just got a bunch of mush mouth. Well, that's funny. I hope I didn't offend you.
No, not at all. I was just like, man, that bet hits home. That hits home for me.
Yeah, well,
But it's true too, because you see those cars driving around, and they still have like the little
side
mirror.
thing? Oh yeah,
thing.
yeah.
That's what really gets you.
Yeah.
You're like, it's got the side mirror, and then they pull up, and it's like some like dude like totally like rolling a joint. Like, what?
Yeah, and
Who
actually,
do these cops sell their cars to, or they just donate them when they let people out of jail?
that's their parting gift out of prison.
Don't come back.
Take this 87 Crown Vic. Oh, yeah, that's hilarious. I've actually rolled it now into doing that, and then I followed up with making fun of meth heads.
Right.
It seemed like a natural progression.
There you go.
Yeah, it works.
All right. Well, we're getting pretty low on our first beers here, so we're gonna take a break. We're gonna order some more, so stick with us.
Sounds good.
And we got a This Day in Beer History coming up,
Yes.
so I think those are always fun.
Nice.
All right. We'll see you in a sec, guys.
I like girls and cut off blue jeans. Is that really oh so bad? Sometimes I think I miss my call. Should have been Sir Galahad. Memories, they come to me. I find I see places I'd like to be. My mind, it runs in circles for what seems forever. Stopping never.
All right. We're back with our last round of beers. I want to thank Kenneth Armstrong for coming on and being our guest today.
Yep.
And, well, guys, prost. Let's get
right.
into these.
Down
Thanks
the
for
hatch.
having me. It's been a real pleasure, actually.
Oh, excuse me.
Oh no.
Hello.
I just got punched in the mouth by Hop Foreman.
Woo.
But no, I didn't want to leave that nice sentiment on the table. I just realized what my beer was while you were saying it. But no, you're welcome. And loved having you on and still having you on for the rest of it. Get off the show. No, I'm just kidding.
All right, that's it.
I feel like this is a great way to start my work day, which
Yeah,
I'm about to start
Best
here in
way,
about
right?
25 minutes or
Yeah.
so.
Yeah, I asked him if he could be on the show. He's like, what time is it? I was like, 3 o'clock. And he's like, right before I go to work. I'd love to get a couple in me.
I'm a functional alcoholic.
Yeah.
You can only function on alcohol. Guys, I got the Green Flash palette wrecker.
Oh my.
Yeah, attention hopheads it starts with. West Coast inspired IPA with almost 6 pounds of Columbus and Centennial hops used to create this very bitter hop monster. 149 IBUs, which stands for International Bittering Unit, but
Holy.
I don't really have a good understanding yet
How
of...
do you measure that?
I don't know. It's probably like how they can do the hot peppers. How do you measure that? I don't know, but they
Yeah.
have like numbers
Oh
on
yeah.
them.
What's the pepper units called?
Capsaicin, isn't it? Or
That's something like that. I don't know.
or maybe capsaicin is the thing that makes it high.
Hepatitis? I'm not sure.
Did you say pepatitis?
Hepatitis? They're in B, C. No, it's actually Scoville units.
Oh, you're right.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Sorry, guys. I know what's going on.
Scoville scale.
Yeah, he went with the Hep C joke, which I appreciate. Right in my wheelhouse of humor. Well, Kenneth, what are you drinking? You got a beautiful looking brew over there.
You know, it's an IPA from the local little tap store here. What's it called? The Hopnotic.
Yep.
And it gives me the same reaction that you had with that one. Although, I mean, I'd say for an IPA, the color is kind of surprising to me.
Very orange.
It almost seems, yeah, it's not as dark as I would expect an IPA to be. It's very hoppy.
Yeah. All right. Are you a big IPA fan normally, or?
You know what? I'm just gonna break character here and just tell you the honest to God truth. Back in the day, I used to be a beer snob, like you guys probably are, and I drink only these high quality crafted beers, and I still do drink them, you know. But I had too many experiences where I got like really too drunk. 'Cause the alcohol percentage by volume is much more than that of
I'm familiar with
other beers.
such situations as that.
Yeah.
Happened to me about a month ago after this show.
Yeah. So I went back to drinking Pabst Blue Ribbon for the most part, which I do. I love Pabst Blue Ribbon. And I will hold it up against any of the other American lagers, and I will fight for it.
No, I'm with you.
I like it. It's not,
And so I mostly drink PBR.
I had too much of it once.
I love to have a nice beer, and like I say, I mean, because I do wine tastings a lot, for my job. So I like to taste things, try to pull flavors out, on my palate and enjoy the flavor of stuff.
Yeah.
But also I like just to slam a PBR back like nobody's business.
Well,
that would be your guzzlet for life.
Yeah.
I used to get 12 packs of PBR. I had a friend who worked at a liquor store when I was at college in Muncie.
I got a funny story about that myself. I had a friend that worked at a liquor store in Muncie when I used to go to Ball State.
Nice.
You weren't here when I was talking about Ball State earlier.
Oh, okay.
We called him Bounce.
That's a great name.
Great
it's a
guy.
pretty good nickname.
I wouldn't tell you some of the things we were involved in together, but he seemed like a pretty nice guy, right?
Yeah.
One day, and this just goes to show you just never know someone, really, okay? One day, he walked into the liquor store at Ball State.
Where he worked?
No, he didn't work there.
Oh, okay.
This is just, your liquor store worker could have been this person had it been 10 years earlier. He walked into the liquor store. The clerk was the only person in the building, right? Late at night. He robs the cash out of the liquor store, right?
What?
And then he takes the clerk out of the building and kidnaps him and
What?
takes him with him, right? He puts him in his car, A. B, he duct tapes him to a tree in the park.
Oh, my God.
C, he puts a screwdriver through the guy's eyeball and murders him.
Whoa. Well,
Yeah.
that sounds very Muncie, actually.
And here, I mean, literally, like, hanging out with this guy at parties, just like...
Was he a student?
No, he was the local guy, and he was like a basketball coach for like a 6th grade basketball
Oh my
team.
God.
I'm so literally serious about that. It was the most bizarre.
Yeah.
I was like, what happened? What did he do? We were all completely floored. Everyone that knew him was like, what? Really? Like,
jeez.
And now
but
he's
like
probably,
I said, you never know.
I imagine he's sitting in jail still to this
Oh,
day.
I'm sure he is. Yeah.
That is... Well, I'm not going to top that, so I won't try. Holy shit.
So you had a friend that worked at a liquor store in Ball State. How was that working out?
It was fun. Anytime he had a beer deal, we knew about it. It was when PBR got back onto the market, like in the early 2000s, and I was getting...
there was a boom.
Yeah.
There was a PBR boom.
Yeah. And I could get a 12-pack for $4. Mm-hmm. And I would get 2 4-packs, me and my roommate, and we would drink that much every night.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And it was delicious until it wasn't delicious anymore. And I was like, oh, more.
Yeah.
Every year, when I was in school here at IU, every year for their little 5 week or their big party week, all Big Red Liquors, 24 packs of PBR, $9.99. We'd go buy way more than we should have. Drank them all week.
Not you, Brooks. I never believe it.
Now, see, when I was at Ball State, we did we had a lot of parties at our house. We did kegs of Amberbach.
Ah,
Kegs, nice.
Yeah, because the Amberbach was the same price as Bud Light, and
Really?
everything else at the time
Oh.
when it had just came out.
That's a deal.
And so we were getting the kegs of Amberbach for like $60 or whatever.
huh.
And
When was that? Like what year?
like 93, 94. And so we were playing beer pong. Well, I mean, at the time, this was pre-beer pong. It was called Beirut when I went to school.
Was it? Okay.
We called it Beirut. And they didn't have any of this. You can't bounce it really. We could bounce the ball as many times as we wanted towards the cups. So you could do like a 5 bounce, like slow move up. There was no blocking or anything.
yeah.
Okay.
I think it was a lot funner personally, but
I kind
they
of don't
changed
love
the
the
rules.
blocking,
Yeah.
but it's never better when somebody blocks half their cups off the table. So,
that
That's
is
always
fun.
a good laugh.
That's
Yeah.
good. Yeah.
well, Kenneth, you might have kind of answered it, but we do like to ask our guests if there was ever a time or a craft beer that you can remember that you had that kind of really opened the doors where you wanted more out of taste from your beers than your
Sure.
typical domestics.
Back
Oh, absolutely.
Back in your beer snob
Well,
days.
no. Through college, we drank Amberbach, but mostly we just drank Budweiser, Bud Light, all
Right.
that kind of good stuff. When I moved back down here to Bloomington, the Upland opened up.
Mm-hmm.
I happened to have moved in with a couple guys that worked at Upland,
Nice.
and we built our kegerator,
Oh,
and they would get kegs of Upland. We never did not have a keg of Upland at our house.
Ah,
So Dragonfly was my
nice.
big baby. That's
Yeah.
what's really started me on the road to enjoying the finer arts of beer.
yeah, that's a good one.
I
So
used
was
to
that one
drink
of
a
their
lot
original?
Dragonfly.
Yeah.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. That's kind of when I first got going on craft beer.
And someone told me that, and I don't know if it's true, but when I first started drinking it, I think it tasted a little different than it does now. Someone told me that they couldn't get the same kind of hops that they could get when they first started brewing it. They had to change the hops, and so
Sure.
I think the flavor of it's a little different now. It's still good,
But you like the
but
original?
when I first started drinking it, it was just phenomenal. I absolutely loved that beer, and
Well,
it got me into
really
a
cool.
lot of trouble.
Man, and Brooks has a homemade kegerator at his house. How come I never had these friends?
Yeah.
Probably because I wouldn't be friends with them long once they realized what I was doing to their keg. But
yeah.
Yeah.
I'm usually a very kind, giving person until it comes to beer. And I'm the most selfish, needy son of a bitch.
Mine.
Give it to me all.
I'll take all the beer you have.
Yeah, basically in my book, everything's a guzzle it.
Well,
I hear you.
All right, guys.
I won't fight you.
I think it's time for This Day in Beer History, January 23rd. This headline is taken from 1869. The San Francisco Nugget Chronicle. I don't think that paper's still around now, though.
I don't think so.
Railroad completion brings East Coast goods to West Coast. With the completion of the Pacific Railroad, residents of the West Coast can now get the finer things East Coast living they remember, without all the pretentious East Coast people that they traveled here to escape. The rail cars will be full of goods and post, and will make stops in Omaha and the Utah Territory. I can't read. Sacramento, and of course the Frisco Bay. The most highly sought after commodity will be clothing and linens. Locals are also on pins and needles about the new speed at which grains and other foodstuffs can be delivered. Not to mention brewers from back east will now be able to ship their fine beers here. And boy, do we look forward to it, since most of the swill and gut rot we have become accustomed to here has been locally brewed. In this humble reporter's opinion, nothing here can stand up to a good mug of Schlitz. I have even heard rumor that they have cold beer in the saloons on the East Coast. But for now, a San Francisco man can only dream. The article goes on, but nice little snapshot of American history.
Sure.
Yeah.
Apparently Schlitz was big back then.
Schlitz. Yeah, fire brewed.
Yeah, no, that's real.
Yeah, that's the thing.
Yeah, they still sell Schlitz?
Yeah, but
Yes, they do.
It's-
When they first started the Atlas over here, they had it on tap.
Really?
they really?
Yeah,
I don't know if I've ever had one.
it's actually not bad.
No, it's not. It's way better than Hams and Stroh's.
Like I was gonna say,
I've had it Stroh's.
it has the.
That's gross.
It has It's like PBR. It's an American lager, but it has more flavor than your Budweiser or your Miller Lite or your other things of that nature.
Also, like PBR though, it had fallen on hard times and like got bought out by a couple of people and brought
You know
back.
what? If you and I'm not. If you taste a PBR against a Yingling, you will be shocked at how similar the flavor is.
Really? The color's a little different, but I'll have to do that. Because Yingling's kind of promotes itself as like the oldest American brewery.
Right.
Well, it is.
So maybe actually that something about the style of beer brewed back then and the ingredients used.
Right.
Interesting. Kenneth Armstrong, champion of PBR.
There you go.
Yep. You know it.
All right, guys. Well, I think it's time to wrap up the show. Mm-hmm. Anyone around town in Bloomington, I just urge you to check the local open mic scenes. Hopefully, you can find Kenneth Armstrong doing his gargoyle.
Doing stuff.
Yeah.
Doing things.
I've heard it several times now, and I maybe laugh harder every time I hear it. It's very good, and there's other amazing people to hear.
Oh yeah, it's a great scene here in Bloomington. One of the best in the country, I think. So
I agree.
That's awesome.
All right, well, this will conclude another episode of Who's Drinking What. Drink on.
Sitting on my bed in my red pajamas, watching Michigan State take on Indiana, and honey, thought you'd like to know. I don't mean to be apologizing, and I hate wasting time philosophizing, 'cause baby, I'm a little bit slow. I know a lot of people catch on to things quicker, and maybe I spend too much time with my liquor, and I stand still while the others go. And I never get jokes until hours later, and then I crack up in a crowded elevator, 'cause baby, I'm a little